There is no any new idea I have read anywhere in Nigeria. This is to show to us that we are very proud of what the sector has been doing, and we are very proud of our boss, President Muhammadu Buhari, because of the support. After that, I'm sorry to say, many African countries, including Asian countries, reach out to us and they change their ministry to the Ministry of Digital Economy. I invited one of our friends from one of the West African countries, which I believe you will be part of this event. After our own, they changed their ministry directly to the Federal Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy. At least 3 Asian countries reached out to us, they changed their ministries. And he said to me, we copied your policies and we are implementing them. And I said, I hope it's not plagiarism. He said, but I notified you, we copied. So by implication, he means this is a legal and legitimate plagiarism, because he said he notified me. So at least the journey so far has been commendable, and I want to use the opportunity to commend the CEOs of the parastatals, particularly those that are delivering their mandate day in, day out. Our main responsibility as ministers is to develop national policies, supervise their implementation, and give policy direction. The parastatals are directed to implement the policies. Usually our implementation at our level is a pilot program. We pilot it. When we are comfortable, we direct the parastatals to implement. Most of them are doing extremely well. Some are doing averagely well, and I challenge all of them to raise the tempo and ensure that before the end of the year, all the parastatals will be on A class. And furthermore, the issue I earlier mentioned with regards to the performance of the sector, the digital economy sector. During the retreat, we were all, prior to the retreat, private sector institutions were involved, independent assessors, like FCD, a Foreign Commonwealth Development Office, which is in the United Kingdom, and KPMG, we know their credibility globally, and the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation. Where are the copies of the speeches? Who? Where are they? With who? No reason of giving. Mama, take it, Femi, to collect it, please. Distribute to them to go through. Give it to Dr. Femi, please, take it, please. Give it to the CEOs and also to media people. The remaining copies can be distributed to all that are here. From that, you will be able to see our performance based on what has been evaluated. And it's not only statistics they collect, they will go to the field and evaluate. If it is a building, they must go and see it. Particularly, we mentioned the data center we built in Kano under Galaxy Backbone Limited. They say mention is not enough. They wanted to go to Kano and see the data center. So it's not something that you present, it must be reviewed. So they evaluated independently. Go through the records and see what we have done when it comes to performance. There are 8 priority areas. Number 1 is broadband penetration. Under broadband penetration, we delivered by 134%. 134%. While the target as A was 70% is A. So 134%, almost double A's. And don't forget the challenge we have of COVID-19 that restricted activities for almost a year. Don't forget the issue of vandalization that we are suffering from. Don't forget the challenges of security we have in so many parts of the country. that do not allow us to penetrate certain areas, but yet we were targeting 70 as A, we delivered by 134%. 4G deployment in the country is one of the mandates given to us. Under 4G deployment, we delivered by 127%. Are you following? We delivered by 127%, because by the time we took over, 4G penetration in Nigeria was 23%, but today is 77%. Today is what? Is 77%. The next one is digitalization of our government processes and the services. We delivered that one by 99%. Are you following? Then the development and implementation of a national digital economy policy and strategy for a digital Nigeria. What was the percentage? We delivered by 102 or 103, I think. 103, yeah. We delivered by 103%. And this is the initiative of President Muhammadu Buhari's administration. We developed the in-depth from the scratch, and the implementation level is 103%. Because the target to get A is 70, and this is what many sectors were looking for. But in our own case, we did not target 70. Our target usually was much, much higher than that. And this is what we had been doing. The minimum scores is under digital identity, which is 86%. 16% more than the minimum required for distinction. 86%. And we attend this, you cannot appreciate even that one until you look at the statistics. NIMSI was transferred to us for supervision in October 2020. And this institution was established in 2007. From 2007 to 2020, how many years? 13 years. 13 years of existence before coming to our supervision. What was the database of NIMSI DG at then? It was less than 40 million. In 13 years, less than 40 million. But from October 2020 to October 2022 today, how many years? 2. We increased the database from less than 40 in 15 years to more than 90 million. So we increased 51 million, more than 51 million Nigerians into the database within 2 years. While in the previous, how many years? 13 years, 39 million. And go and see the amount of money government spent in that 13 years. DG is in the better position to let us know, even before he was appointed as the DG. To the extent that there were many scandals at that time, releasing billions of naira with allegation of mismanagement. But go through the record. We attend this without any significant support from government. We understand the economic challenges, and we have accepted that. We were only increasing the enrollment for over a year, leveraging on only corporate social responsibilities within the sector. And we increased the enrollment centers from 1,600 to over 6,000 enrollment centers. From 1,600 to over 6,000 enrollment centers. In addition to so many new initiatives we have introduced.
More than 15,000.
Sorry?
More than 15,000 centers.
More than
15,000 centers.
So far today, if you look at even international centers we have established, today we have over 15,000 centers from 1,600. We have more than 15,000 enrollment centers. The first one I mentioned is optimization of government revenue. which was generally around 51 billion quarterly, to 408 billion averagely. An increase of, from the target given to us, we delivered by 594%. 594%. And many of you may not appreciate this until and unless they know the difficulty of revenue generation. Most of the other ministries that are doing well, they are not revenue generation ministries or parastatals or sectors. They are government spending ministries. Because they don't contribute, they only wait for us to generate and give them to spend. And in real sense, generating revenue is more difficult than spending. That is the reality. So tell me, in our own case, we generate, we don't spend. At certain times, we remit all what we generate for government. All, 100%. We remit, even 1% is not for the sector. We remit 100%. Like, for example, look at the 5G we did. The reserve price, it was 70 million USD. We insisted it must go through auctioning. Through auctioning, we were able to deliver per spectrum 273 million USD instead of 70 million USD. And that one, even the NCC that coordinated did not retain 1% of that money, 100% remittance to government. So you will not appreciate other ministries that are even going higher, targeting 70, they are only spending. They will go to finance, release money for us to spend. In our own case, we don't spend. We generate for others to spend, which is more difficult. You cannot even compare. Getting money is more difficult than spending money. That is why if you see somebody spending through extravagance, you say he doesn't know the difficulty of generating. That is how you argue with your children at home. You don't know. Why? Because they only spend. In our own case, we generate for others to spend. Oil and gas spend many months without remittance to government. Let's assume the digital economy sector is no more there. How can we even pay salary? Only through VAT, because of the automation. Only VAT, not to talk of all others. Within the half of the year, we remitted around 180 billion with 18.44% contribution to GDP. Another sector with 22% contribution to GDP remitted less than 5 billion as VAT. Look at the gap. So the sector is doing well, and we are very proud of that. We pioneer digital economy with the support of our principal, President Muhammadu Buhari, and it has become very successful in Nigeria. I commend the CEOs and all other stakeholders, including the private sector. Before our effort, many people considered Ministry of Communications like Ministry of Information. Nobody was even bringing the ministry into any important equation. But the situation has significantly changed today. It becomes even another item, a prerequisite towards even campaigning at any level of governance in Nigeria. Even a senator was producing a pamphlet mentioning what he will do in the digital economy in his constituency as a senatorial candidate, bringing that, and go through the manifesto, blueprints, and many more. You will be amazed that at least with all sense of humility, we are very proud of what we have been doing, and we are very proud of what we have been achieving on behalf of Nigeria and also Nigerians. Part of our mandate, we are mandated to ensure active collaboration with the private sector when it comes to job creation. In that area, 70 is A. We delivered by 111%. So by implication, we delivered by 41% more than the A mark. 41% more than A when it comes to job creation. Of recent, we have signed an MOU with Microsoft Corporation with the intention of training 5 million Nigerians. Not basic ICT training, but high demand and cutting edge digital skills. Look at it, high demand digital skills. It's not only ordinary training. We identified job opportunities globally, and we want to train our citizens that will be able to apply for these job opportunities that are available, not only in Nigeria, but rather globally. And we have been championing a paradigm shift from what? From theory to practice, from paper qualification and degrees to skills. My book has been published on skills rather than just degrees, and I hope it will be unveiled very soon. This is a paradigm shift we are advocating, that the focus of the world today is not just about the degree you obtain, but it's about the skills you acquired, the hard skills, soft skills, and the social skills. This is what is important globally. We are not in any way undermining paper certificates, as we have obtained many with all sense of humility. We have obtained many, but we want to confess that what is important, paper qualification should be a validation of the skills you have obtained. It is only a validation. That is why when I read recently, one of our Nigerians, may the Almighty provide an opportunity for him, returned to his university presenting his certificate, that he returned the certificate and let the university refund his registration fees to him. I just laughed. I said, this is our problem in Nigeria. University is not supposed to just give you certificate. What is important is the training you have gone through, not the certificate. Certificate is just an evidence. You buy a car with a receipt. That receipt is not what you bought. The car is what is important. So if you return the certificate, this is a clear indication of our mentality in Nigeria. We anticipate that we go to university to obtain degree. It's not. The skills, the training we go through is what is important. If you have the skills and the training, even without certificate, you can work today in the world. So if I return the certificate, how can I return what I have learned in the university? For example, how can I return it? My teacher taught me mathematics, another one taught me IT, another one taught me software, another teacher taught me cybersecurity, for example, another one taught me Java programming language, C++. How can you return that? So our target, because of that mentality of prioritizing certificate, we think that we can return the certificate. No, what is important is the training and the skills you have obtained. Then empowerment of our citizens. That one we have delivered by 137%. Even this one we delivered by 67% higher than the A grade. 67%. So these are the 8 priority areas that were given to us officially by our principal, President Muhammad Buhari, and I signed them like undertaking. I signed them that this mandate is given to you, you have to go and deliver. So this is the report that has been unveiled. Mr. President in his speech mentioned digital economy and he commended our effort. His Excellency the Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo the same. When he came for his speech, I think more than 50% of the entire speech is mentioning the achievements of this administration in the digital economy sector. During our panel session, before the panel session commenced, the facilitator said, this sector is one of the sectors that this administration is very proud of what it has delivered, and the facilitator is from the private sector. He commended. So EVC was there with me, and I believe he will be a witness, and the permanent secretary was also there during the ministerial retreat. When our presentation was made, permanent secretary came to me and said, thank you, Oga, I'm proud of you. And I said, any problem? He said, no, there is no problem. All other colleagues that are my neighbors were commending me coming from the ministry. And the permanent secretary is here. This is just in summary. There are many achievements, like the national policies we have developed. In the paper distributed to, we have mentioned only 17 out of 19. And all of these policies are being implemented. Some, and in each and every one, is not just the policy formulation, but rather we set up machineries for the implementation of these policies. In all of them, there are machineries that are supporting us to implement the policy, like National Digital Economy Policy and Strategy for a Digital Nigeria, roadmap for the implementation of in-depth, for example, national policy for citizens in internally displaced IDPs, national policy on virtual engagements in the federal public institutions, national policy on NIN and SIM registration, then another revised national policy on NIN and SIM registration, then national policy for the development of indigenous content in the telecommunication sector, national policy on device management system, national policy on visa installation for Nigerians, national policy for the regulation of Nigerian postal services, national digital innovation and entrepreneurship policy, which has now been replaced by Nigeria Startup Act 2022, one of the major legacies, Nigeria Startup Act 2022. Of recent, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, the best university in the world, where I serve as champion, and I also attended the institution for training, sent an email to us requesting us to learn from what we have done in Nigeria. The email clearly mentioned they want to engage us to learn from what we have been doing in Nigeria, and also to understand the impact of MIT Regional Entrepreneurship Acceleration Program, in which I happen to be the champion here, the impact of that on the Nigeria Startup Act 2022. This is the best university in the world. The university that its serial entrepreneurs, their collective GDP is more than the GDP of India as a country, which is around 2 trillion USD. 2 trillion USD. MIT nation. If MIT were to be a country, it could be the 9th or the 10th largest economy globally. The serial entrepreneurs of MIT, their collective GDP is more than the GDP of Africa as a continent, with 54 countries. But yet, they commended our effort. They sent an email with the intention of learning from our experience and also willing to understand whether MIT RIP program that we participated played a role in coming up with this law, in which it has played that role. There is no doubt about this. So this is another major legacy when it comes to providing the enabling environment for our startups to grow, and particularly the approach we adopted in coming up with that executive bill, because we initiated the bill. It is an executive bill initiated by the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari. We did what is called organic approach, bottom-up approach. We allowed our innovators to identify the challenges. From these challenges they submitted to us, we formulated the draft, in which I presented the draft before the Federal Executive Council on the 15th December 2021, and it was approved there. And we transmitted to National Assembly, and finally it returned back to us, and on the 19th of October, on the 18th October 2022, Mr. President assented to it, and I was in attendance with the Chief of Staff to Mr. President, Professor Ibrahim Gambari, and we addressed media there and then. So if you look at it from December 2021, and now October, within less than a year, with all the difficulties of going through the lawmaking process in the National Assembly, we were able to deliver within 10 months from the draft in the Executive Council to becoming a law. There is no single challenge submitted to us by our startups without accommodating in that. No single challenge that has been presented to us without there is a provision to address it in that law. Best transceiver stations in this country, when we came on board in 2019, the total number is around 13,000 in Nigeria. Today we have over 36,000. So this is just in summary what we have been doing. I did not exhaust. I only mentioned some major achievements that will make us to appreciate the gist of our modest effort. And I believe that we will all appreciate and we will all be proud of what our government has been doing for all of us. With these few words, I invite all of you to attend the Digital Nigeria Conference starting tomorrow. If you are yet to register, I think the portal is still open. You may wish to go and get registered. This is very important indeed, so that you will participate in the event, and we will use the opportunity to update you on many more gains and achievements of the sector. May the Almighty continue to guide the digital economy sector, and may the Almighty bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you all for listening. Stand up, please.